it is a common belief that it doesn't matter what you're eating, as long as you exercise enough, you're going to burn those calories off. Unfortunately, a calorie is not a calorie, is not a calorie, is not a calorie. And if your calories are coming from foods that inflame your body, okay, and so at the top of those lists is going to be sugar, sodium, alcohol, refined wheat flours, and dairy, okay? If your calories are coming from those things, you're still inflaming your body, right? And so it doesn't matter how much exercise you do, your body is still going to be in a state of inflammation. And it's not necessarily going to burn fat nor help you drop weight. What you eat is 85% of whether or not you're going to lose weight. Okay? So just like a computer, when you're eating, you're putting data into your body. What's going into the pie hole is simply data for your body. And everything that you eat elicits a chemical response from your body. There's no way around that. You may be upset because you got in a fight with your spouse, and so you eat 3 donuts, and you think that should just wash through. What you don't understand is that you still have chemical reactions to those 3 donuts. It doesn't matter what your emotional state is, your body is still going to respond to those 3 donuts. Okay? Your insulin's still going to go up, your inflammation's still going to increase, you are going to store fat. There is no response for the human body to have other than fat storage to a donut. Okay? No matter what your emotional state. And no matter how much you exercise, you're not going to quote unquote burn off those 3 donuts that we're talking about. It's not going to happen. Okay? And so the most important thing that you want to change with your body, if you want to get healthy, if you want to get leaner, is to work with the food. You want to work with the data that's going into the pie hole. All right? Like a computer, bad data in, bad data out. Okay? And so exercise and water and rest are other components that are very important to health. But truly, what goes into your mouth is going to dictate 85% of what you see in terms of your health. That is truly the first place to start. Truly the first place to start. Again, because it's not a calories versus calories, you know, calories in versus calories out equation. That's not how the body works. One of the ways to look at working with the body is simply reducing inflammation, because reducing that inflammation is going to allow the body to return to a state of health. You were born, most of us, in a state of health, and then all that information we're feeding our body in the form of what goes into the mouth, okay, you've got the result of that right now. And you wouldn't be watching this if you were really happy with where you were right now, okay? And so what you want to think about is you want to start reducing that inflammation, okay? Now, one of the ways people deal with their food habits, usually we know when we're eating a lot of junk food, or we know when things aren't working for our bodies, and so what people will do is start adding supplements. Now, if you're eating foods that inflame your body, I'm going to go back to those 3 donuts. If you're eating 3 donuts for a meal, and then you take a handful of vitamins, you are still in a negative state because of the inflammation caused by those donuts. You can take large amounts of supplements, and they're still not going to override the inflammatory foods that you're putting into your body. Okay? Now, a donut is about this big, and a vitamin is about this big. What is it in our brains that think the vitamin overrides the donut? Okay? Now, it'd be wonderful if you could eat a good food and a bad food, right? Say you eat a carrot and a donut, and they meet in your stomach, and the carrot says, dude, I'm going to carry this one. And the donut says, sweet. And the carrot wins. It'd be cool if that's the way it worked, but it's not the way it works. It's not the way it works. The way it works is the inflammatory food gets all the attention and does the damage. Okay? So, all that to say that it's more important what you remove from your diet than what you add. So what you want to do is you want to start removing those inflammatory foods. And yes, you want to replace them with healthy foods. But if you're eating a diet that's high in processed foods and you start doing a shot of wheatgrass every day, that shot of wheatgrass isn't doing you any good. but it's making somebody some money. Okay? And this is what the diet industry is based on. And this is what the supplement industry is based on, is making money. So yes, these supplements and these vitamins and these different healthy dietary aids, yes, they have healthful components to them. But simply spending your money on all these products and doing more and more of these products, but not cleaning up your fundamental diet, not removing the things that are hurting you to begin with, you're not further ahead with the supplements. You're throwing your money away. You're taking it in, you're dumping it out, but you're not utilizing it. All right? The biggest bang for your buck is going to come from removing the foods that cause inflammation. And again, that's going to be sugar, sodium, alcohol, white processed flour, and dairy. And we will later go into the components of each of those and why they affect your body so strongly. Because a lot of those foods people don't believe cause inflammation. Dairy is one of those that there's a lot of controversy about. So reduce the inflammation by removing the foods that harm you first. Before you go on an exercise program, before you start taking supplements, before you do anything else, start removing those foods that cause you inflammation. One of the popular things that we hear is that, for instance, a wife will say, you know, oh, if I eat a half a cup of ice cream, you know, my weight goes up 3 pounds and I feel like crap. But my husband can eat a quart of ice cream and there's no change in his body. Nothing happens. It seems to do him just fine. He feels good. What there is there's a high level of individuality from body to body to body. And so what works for one person doesn't appear to work for another person. So that one person may thrive on a diet very high in red meat, and another person may not thrive on a diet very high in red meat. They may need lean meats, or they may need no meat. Everyone's very, very different. However, when it comes to foods that cause a high level of inflammation, when it comes to refined and processed foods, it's a different argument, okay? So we have two conversations here. Number one is that one person can eat ice cream and appear to be fine, and the other person eats ice cream and they gain fat right away and feel miserable. And then we have a person who can eat a high level of red meat and really thrive, and then someone else eats a high level of red meat and they get really sick. All right, so we're going to talk about this one first. When it's a healthy, unrefined, unprocessed, clean food, and one person thrives on that food and another doesn't, that's simply a level of individuality and chemical makeup, okay? Everyone's very different that way. What the calories and the macronutrients, and by macronutrients I mean protein, carbohydrates, and fats, that ratio to calories for one person may mean one thing, it may mean something else to another, and the same with healthy foods. However, when we talk about the other situation where we're talking about ice cream or other inflammatory foods, what you have is a matter of constitution, okay? So if we have two people, person A and person B, and person A can eat ice cream every day and appear to thrive, and person B eats ice cream once and gets really sick, what we have is a difference in constitution, because there is no way that sugar is going to work for the human body. It's a drug. It's listed with the FDA as a drug and has been for over 30 years, an addictive drug, I might add, okay? So, person A appears to get away with it today, and person B doesn't get away with it at all. Now, person B is having an acute response to that substance, okay? Person A has a constitution that's still working with it. But you don't know where person A is going to be in 5 years or 10 years, all right? There's a phenomenon that's well documented, and that is of male runners who run their entire adult lives every day, okay, from 5 to 20 miles a day, right, every day, and can eat whatever they want. We've all seen this, okay? But in that population, there's a high incidence of these men where they literally walk in the door from a run and fall over dead from a heart attack.